Hello, everyone, and welcome to yet another Glimesh TV team meeting. I am Cologne18, your host. I'm joined by some people in Discord and some people in text, or in chat, I guess. As a reminder to everyone who's new, this is our weekly team meeting where we discuss the Glimesh business, what we're working on, what's challenging us, what kind of state our financials are in. We kind of cover the whole gambit. And if you have any questions, we're happy to help. If there are questions that are not related to the content, so it's not related to what's on the screen, please hold those questions off until the end. And then after we finish the recording, then we will answer those questions. For anyone who's new here, if you type or speak over voice, that will be recorded and sent over the internet and uploaded to YouTube. If you don't consent to that, please don't talk. All right. Let's do this. All right, so first things first is we're going to cover some weekly metrics. So we did have an interesting week last week. Last week was one of the first weeks where we had really started to apply some social media pressure again. For those of you who weren't here last week, we also created a new TikTok. We're trying to find ways of expanding our reach and growing the company. And TikTok is, what every person on the planet uses nowadays. So these metrics are, I think pretty good. Discord is down again, week over week over week over week over week. It's been down. It's completely eluding me exactly why the number is going down. I think there's a combination of people who don't use Discord, right, who don't want to be a part of that anymore. But also people, a combination of people who, reach that server cap of 100 servers, and they no longer, think that Glimesh is, they get their news somewhere else, right? There's not really anything for them here. And that's perfectly fine. I wish we could have some form of exit survey, but unfortunately we don't have that. Discord has a server cap of 100 servers. Twitter, we grew by 25, which is the first time we've grown on Twitter by that number for quite a couple of weeks. On Reddit, we grew by 5. Instagram's down on 6, but I honestly think that part of the reason Instagram is down is we honestly just reminded people that we existed on Instagram. We went from tweeting or from posting on Instagram pretty commonly before launch, and then we kind of ghosted everyone on Instagram for a good long while. And then just recently we started reposting on Instagram. And I think some people realize that they don't really want to follow that type of content. And I think, it's not the type of content that's pushing people off. It's just, remembering that we exist that's pushing people off, which sounds really awful, but I don't think it's truly that bad at the moment. Facebook, we're up by 6 new followers, and TikTok, we're up by 21. Users, we are up by 201, and MRR, we're down by $575. Support tickets last week was 19 compared to the week before, which was 23. Still good. Support tickets going up or down aren't necessarily a bad thing. We just want to measure them over time, so if we start getting huge peaks, we can kind of understand why. On the right, we have our user growth chart, which is essentially up until last year. We're about to actually hit a year, which is nice. And then the blue is the new users each week. You can see this is our launch right here, but then we're kind of back down to normal numbers. This is, of course, the overall count of new users. This is going to go up over time. And then we added a new graph that you can actually check out on Glimesh.tv. If you go to the very bottom, you can see open data. We've got a couple of new graphs here. The first one is recurring subscriptions. This is a new number, and we'll talk about this in a second. And then the next one is the live streams, which is the number of unique streamers and peak viewers by week. Now, the first thing to be aware of is the last week here, the very end, is going to be not finished yet. So this number is always going to be super small. We'll probably change this chart, honestly, to make it so you don't immediately think that things are caving in. But, this is the last full week, 473 unique streamers and 3,705 peak viewers. So that was for last week. So you can come here anytime. You can check these numbers out. You can even download it as a CSV if you want to play around with the numbers. We report on these weekly. I think in the future we may change it to daily, but right now that's too much of a performance impact. All right, so there you go. So that's this chart here. And yeah, every week it kind of just dips down again, and then the chart will slowly come back up over time. It's not ideal for reporting, I'll say. All right, so the next slide here is traffic. This covers how many people are viewing the site. I made some adjustments to this page. Part of the problem we're having right now is we're not tracking this stuff. We're tracking this stuff week over week, but we're not reporting on it week over week. And so it's been hard to actually gauge how we're doing, whether good or bad, each week. And so what I've started doing is, I changed all these numbers to previous full week versus this full week. And what that means is I'm now doing a Monday to Monday comparison. We're running into an issue where we'd pull this analytics report and we would be doing it on Tuesday and we'd lose half the day, right? Because we would run it at noon. And so we had 12 more hours of analytics that we hadn't even received yet. So what I've done is I've actually re-pulled some of these numbers. You'll see this analytics previous full week is last Monday to Monday. So the what days were those? Here, I'll show my calendar real quick. So this Monday to this Monday, which is the 26th to the 3rd, would be the 12K, and then the 3rd to the 10th is the 11.5K. And I say that because these numbers are actually really good now. Over the past couple of weeks, we'd been down about 20% week over week on analytics, on traffic to the site. And this week, for the first week ever, we've now approached a 5% decrease instead of a 20%. So the social media efforts we're doing, everyone's support and help is definitely helping out on the metrics side. Now, it's not done. We need to see growth. We need to see that this number to be green, hopefully, and that's what we're going to continue marching towards. But we are seeing the numbers go up, which is a really good thing. You can see we also had more page views than the previous full week here, and the duration was even longer as well. So 5 minutes and 24 seconds versus 5 minutes and 45 seconds. The same thing with Twitter. This is the 28-day summary, but I pulled it for, the week before, and that was, 68 tweets, 369,000 impressions, 19,000 profile visits, etc. And when I pulled it this week, we were looking at 127 tweets, 375 impressions, which is up from last week, 26,000 impressions, which is up from last week, 2,000 mentions, which is up from last week. And so even though these numbers are still red because they're comparing a 28-day summary, we are actually growing right now. These numbers are positive from where we were a week ago. So I think everyone's doing a great job. We've definitely started to grow a little bit, and it's nice to see. And I think hopefully if we continue our social media trend and you all continue your engagement and support that we need on social media, I think we're going to start to see more and more people come in. And the entire goal here, right, is to make sure that people don't forget we exist. We need people to know that we're here, and we need to continue to produce content. That way, when you visit Glimesh, you always see someone live. And then hopefully what will kind of coincide with that is we'll release that mobile app, we'll release, channel subs, all the other features, and they will hopefully, see an active community, and that'll just keep us growing and growing and growing. Real quick, live notifications I had to turn off for this channel temporarily because it was causing a bug that was preventing me from being able to go live. So sorry about that. Sorry if you didn't get the notification. All right, so that's kind of the summary. The keynotes here is we are growing compared to last week. We're still down overall, but we are growing. We continually need your help and support. I know there's a lot of you, honestly, who engage, and love our tweets and content, and you're already doing a great job. Another thing you can do, though, is reach out to people who are uncomfortable with their current situation, their current streaming situation, and let them know Glimesh exists. It's difficult, I know, getting the word out. It's honestly really difficult, and a lot of people don't always get our value proposition. They don't know why Amazon is bad. They don't know why a large streaming company owned by Tencent is a bad idea for everyone. And part of what we're trying to do is help inform you. That way why we're a good decision. So one thing I wanted to mention, if you go to our blog, we actually have this new post by Barry, which covers a lot of different questions that you may get. As far as like our transparency goes, the fact that we're bootstrapped, that we're open source. It talks about our values like accountability, equality. It talks about our volunteerness. All these things can kind of help you convince other people that Glimesh is something worth checking out. But I know it's difficult, and I thank you everyone who's already pushed all of their followers right into our faces, and I appreciate that a lot. And we'll just continue to do that, continue to make that the best that we can make it. Because that's kind of the key to growth, right? Is we need to really get people interested in Glimesh and really drum up the hype and excitement for it. One of the things I've been doing is every time someone mentions nice words about us, I make sure to reply to that, retweet that, whatever I can do, because I want people to know that we are still small. It is such it's in the morning we do have only 10 streams, but the people who those 10 streamers are still loving it. They're enjoying what they're doing, and it can be difficult to grow on Glimesh, but it's difficult to grow everywhere. So at least you should enjoy it while you're doing it. All right, I'll get off my soapbox and go to the next slide. All right, so then the next slide here, I've adjusted slightly since last month. I'm no longer tracking revenue week by week just on this slide. It's not really helpful to do that. So what I have here instead on the right hand side, this part is the last 2 months, full revenue, full expenses, put into a budget. We talked about this before. Our DigitalOcean credits are running out as of this month, so we're going to actually start having to pay for our server bills, which is perfectly fine because we can't afford it. We have the money for it. But we'll just continue to monitor that week over week, and then we'll report out on it month over month. And then the left-hand side is still the same. It's the week. Now I did a month to date just because there's only like one more day in there. And the thing I want to point out here that is important for us is, and this is a sign of this is what we're going to be looking for growth in the future. But this MRR growth just kind of shows you day over day how many people are churning versus how many people are subscribing. This is a very important graph because what this shows is that, sure, even though we have 7,000 monthly recurring revenue, the orange here are the people who are churning. And so it's showed up in dollar amounts, essentially. And so you can see that we're getting a lot of churn and not a lot of growth. Now, there are still some blue dots of hope in here, but we need to essentially work on getting those blue dots to be higher and the orange dots to be less. Churn is essentially that you subscribe for this month and then you cancel it. And so next month, you're not subscribed again. That basically means that we can't rely on you for support. So we can't budget you into how much it costs. So MRR is monthly recurring revenue. So how much of your revenue happens every single month. And you normally want recurring revenue because that lets you project out how many months you can exist or how many months that you can afford existing. It's essentially a paycheck, right? MRR is a paycheck, and your paycheck is normally always the same. But imagine if your paycheck started going down, you'd have to figure out very quickly, how to make that work. All right, so and then right down here at the very bottom is that new chart I was showing you. It looks at the launch day compared to now. The red here is platform subscriptions, so people who give money directly to Glimesh. And then the green, and you can't see it, but the blue behind it, are the channel subscriptions. So what is interesting to point out, and I think this is expected, is the red has had a significant decrease from the first month to now. Right, it's down almost 5x from where it was. But the channel subscriptions is down only by maybe double from where it was. So platform subscriptions are down by 5 times, just by glancing at the chart, and channel subscriptions are only down by half. So people are still subscribing to streams. They are still watching those streams. They are still sticking around for that. But the appeal of subscribing to Glimesh is less, meaningful to people now. I think there was some, launch hype that just faded, and people no longer wanted to continue to support us directly like that, and that's perfectly fine. Honestly, I think I'd rather people support streamers directly by subscribing to channels, and then we'll take our cut from that. Now, if you are interested in subscribing to Glimesh, you can do that. It's under your account menu. You click upgrade, but there's definitely no obligation to do that. And again, we are still running in the green as far as server costs go, so we're not going to disappear out of the blue. One other thing I did recently was total up our bank balance. I wanted to share that as well. Right now, as of this moment, we've got about $18,000 in our bank. Now, that's all going to just making sure that Glimesh keeps existing. It's all going to just continuing to make sure that we can survive month over month. No one is taking any of that money. No one is profiting from that. It's not depositing into my bank account. It's not depositing into Paco's bank account. It's just going to the company. And we're going to continue doing that until we are past the point of growth where it's comfortable to make an actual salary. All right, cool. So unfortunately, we've got not a lot of features that are being launched right now. The features that we are working on, though, is part of the phase 2 of the Glimesh Alpha roadmap. As a reminder, we're working on viewership. That's kind of our quote-unquote goal. We're working on these major features right here. The first one and the highest priority at the moment is the Glimesh mobile app. The video improvements for poor network really drives into that mobile app, drives into some of the problems we're having with some streams. I did want to bring up, though, if you're having problems with your streams, it's not normal. Come talk to us. We can help you. We can help you fix it. Most, if not all, streams should be pretty stable at this point. We're going to continue to work on it to make it even better, but you shouldn't be experiencing anything that's truly awful. Excuse me. Whew. All right, so yeah, right now we're working on the mobile app, and we're working on custom channel emotes. You can expect those to launch first. There's no ETA on when they'll be ready, but those are kind of what we're focused on. And as we showed a couple weeks ago, this is our mobile app. This is kind of like a mock-up. This is what we're working on right now. We're trying to make this come to life. We've made a lot of progress on it. There's some, big challenges to tackle still, but this is definitely something that is starting to really shape up. All right, and then there's a marketing team update. I don't know if Chris maybe wants to talk about this.
Okay, sure. The past week we've been working really hard on some more concepts on how to promote Glimesh and video ideas, and maybe some talks on other fun days like the Star Wars Day, where we can post pictures to bring in more engagement. And today we released a new video, which is called What is Glimesh? It basically introduces Glimesh to newer audiences and maybe people who were hearing about Glimesh beforehand but never really got to be on the platform. So it may be a pushover to finally check it out. It was a nice team effort, by the way. And we're currently nervous. We are currently working on a new video and other video ideas, maybe something that could be helpful for streamers. to I'm not gonna spoil anything more. You just have to wait and see then. And we are putting out some pictures to bring in more engagement on Twitter, for example, or on the other platforms. So yeah, that's it, I guess. Oh, and we have actually Clone has started to put to put out paid advertisements on Facebook, and you can see on the screen the aftermath of it. I think Clone can say more about it.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, Chris. You did a great job. Um, yeah, one of the things that Chris mentioned, our intention has always been to run paid advertisements. And one of the areas that we're not very familiar with, kind of like as a team, is Facebook ads. I've always personally heard that Facebook ads can be really, really powerful or not very powerful. And so one of the things we wanted to do is test out how ads work on Facebook, how everything kind of meshes together, and then where the engagement comes from. So what type of people can we approach? What type of devices do they use? All these kind of questions we needed to learn about. And so we published an ad on Facebook. We spent about $300, which is not very much, but we actually got a really nice return. 23,000 people saw that ad on Facebook, which was nice, and 400 of those actually clicked through to Glimesh. And here, let me show you real quick. This is our plausibles. This is our web analytics. If I look at Facebook as the source for, let's say the 1st to the 11th, this right here, this bump, is when we started running the ad. So it may be what we're going to do in the future is essentially make more targeted ads, things that are focused on like gaming or art or whatever it is. And then we're going to really invest heavily in those ads to try and understand exactly how they work and try and build out a real marketing strategy for paid advertisement versus just, just word of mouth. Yeah, and then the other thing, I've been really impressed by all of the marketing material that we've been able to make. I don't know if any of you have ever browsed our Twitter, but all of the tweets that have been made for the past probably about a week and a half have been made entirely by our volunteer marketing team. People like Barry and Chris and Simi and Kaz and everyone who's been working on it has been doing it kind of in their free time, kind of getting things ready. And so if this is something that appeals to you, if you want to help work on our marketing, you should definitely join our marketing channel and let your voice be heard. All right. So that's basically it. Like I said before, if you're having problems streaming, make sure you reach out. It's not normal to have problems streaming. We've definitely got a solution for you. And at this point, we've heard every problem there is to hear, and we can help you. If you need help with your account, email our support team. And yeah, that's basically it. So thank you everyone for coming by. What we're going to do next is we're going to end the recording and answer any kind of questions you have on stream still. So thank you everyone. Thank you YouTube. Goodbye. Wait, hold on. We got to go to the next slide. There we go. All right.